Hi, I'm Erin Waite, and I hope to earn your vote for Ward 7 Councillor. I've lived in Ward 7 for over 30 years, and so I know the issues in this ward very well. I had a corporate communications background where I learned finance from some excellent CFOs in downtown Calgary. That's a background that'll allow me to make some good, tough decisions for our city, help us manage the finances well. I also ran a nonprofit for disability services, and there I learned a lot about the barriers that exist in our city and how people struggle to get to programs and services. So between the two, I think I can ask some really good questions on council and help us use our resources well and get the programs and services that we need in Ward 7. I also bring board governance experience, and that will allow me to work well with my peers on City Council, where I hope I can be a productive addition so that we move our city forward well and do what we need for Ward 7. Question 2, duties and role of City Councillor. I've thought long and hard about the role of councillor and spent a lot of time at City Council meetings, at committee meetings, so that I could understand the role really well. And I thought long and hard before I threw my hat in the ring because I wanted to ensure I have something to bring to the table that will make a difference for our city. And here's what I've decided is most important for the role of councillor. I see it very distinctly as two levels that I have to do attentively and constantly. The first level is listening to residents. Residents are the experts in what's going on immediately around them. They understand the patterns in their neighborhood better than I ever could. Even if I'm a block away from where that resident is, they know their area better than I ever can. I have to listen to residents and respond to their issues and listen to their solutions because they know. The second piece is working with my councillor peers and the mayor at City Council to make decisions on behalf of the whole city. The trick is doing both of those things consistently. And that's what I commit to do. I've thought long and hard about whether I have the skills to do that, and I believe I do. I have lots of experience to bring to the table working with other levels of government and helping move tough issues and systems change forward. So I'm going to bring that to the table while I listen to my neighbours in Ward 7. Question 3, actions the City Council can take to help diversify the economy. This is an interesting one because there's many ways in which City Council, I think, needs to get out of the way of business and help reduce regulations and costs that add burden to business. So in some ways, City Council needs to just get out of the way and let business thrive and do what they need to do to grow their own business. But there's other things we can do actively as well. Coming out of the pandemic, we've learned how to pivot quickly and experiment. And I think that's going to be key. We have to remember those lessons. I think City Council can be really smart about offering land or a space that's available to business in a really flexible way that works for the business and offer that support if it helps get new businesses and new business ideas going. As well, City Council can improve how it works with other levels of government, with the Alberta government and federal government. We have to work together. Diversifying the economy is an issue across our country as well as for Calgary. And so we need that bigger picture thinking, those bigger ideas, and be part of the solution working with those other initiatives that include funding and they include creative ways of allowing capital to be attracted to new economies. And so that's what City Council needs to do. It's a number of macro and micro solutions and flexibility and sometimes getting out of the way. Question 4, my top 3 goals as Ward 7 Councillor. I've got some big ideas on my platform and some smaller exciting projects that we can do, I think, to help our city and especially Ward 7. But here's my top 3. Diversifying and rejuvenating our downtown is a number 1 goal for me. I've got all kinds of ideas on my website at erinwaite.ca that talk about creating a real neighborhood in downtown, leveraging the major investments that are being made in Arts Commons and the Glenbow and the new event center, so that we have smaller spends but have big impact projects that can really help our downtown. So that's a number one goal because that's a number one issue for our entire city. And a second goal is very concerned about the overall affordability across Ward 7. We need to attract young people, new graduates, young families to our Ward 7 and be able to live inner city. And the affordability in housing is a real issue. I've got some specific ideas on my website that talk about mechanisms we can add that will contribute to affordability. Finally, listening to residents. Community consultation. I have a background in consultation, and I'm going to bring that to the table to help improve our community consultation processes. And as a Ward 7 councillor, do a good job of listening to residents and responding to what they're telling me. That's absolutely key for me, and I think it's going to make Ward 7 both work better and our residents be happier living in our community knowing they're working well with City Council and with me as Ward 7 councillor. Question 5, the impact of the green line on the 16th Avenue intersection and whether it should be surface or underground. This is a question that needs a whole bunch more research, and I have way more questions than I do answers on this one. I'm very concerned about 16th Avenue traffic. It's a major corridor, the Trans-Canada Highway. The impact on immediate neighbours, as I keep saying with community consultation, the people immediately affected have to have a say in what happens in their immediate area. As well, if it's rooted underground, it's far less disruptive, but then we have to look at the cost comparison between the two. So there are still many variables that need to be fully researched, starting with listening to immediate neighbours, because listening to residents is the key job for Ward 7 councillor, and bringing those views to the table will be my prime job, along with analysing the rest of the variables that go into that decision as we figure out the specifics of the rest of the Green Line route. I'm honoured to earn your vote for Ward 7 councillor. I'm really passionate about Ward 7 because I've lived here most of my adult life and I love this city. We've got a lot of challenges ahead, so I think my fresh perspective is going to make a big difference. I have no affiliation with any political groups, any individuals, or any other influencers at City Council. I'm truly at that fresh perspective. But I bring a depth of experience that I think is going to make a difference. I've got a solid financial background from my corporate communications career. I understand and know how to advocate for people, and I'll advocate for everyone. And then I've had some experience with arts and culture organizations. I've volunteered all my life working with arts groups and helping develop our community. So as a community leader, as someone who cares about the city, and with a real depth of experience, I think I can make a difference, and I really hope to earn your vote.